fix something, and you know in the back of your mind, you're trying to fix yours too. Makes it tough. But some of those other things are user fees and not so much taxes, but it's still money. I get it. We're just hoping that, it's public safety, we're hoping people support it. Because without public safety, we got a good town, really compared to some other communities that are dying, with all the things you see in Sioux City and things like that. We've got a good police force that's keeping it clean yet and taking care of business around here. That's a good thing. It makes it still the smaller feel of a smaller town, even though, we're over 10,000 people at night and during the day. Honestly, folks, we're closer to 14,000 with the influx of workers and things. So it's not the little 5, 6, 8,000 Lamars that it used to be when I grew up here. It's double that during the daytime especially. So, yeah. Anything else, Mayor?
Any other comments?
The only other thing that I wanted to leave, I was with Lamar's when it was volunteer service. We really pushed the response time, and you do put an ambulance out that door within minutes because we have that full-time staff. And I understand that the volunteers left that station in 6 minutes because it took them 6 minutes to get to that station. But I also want to really put a hands out to the Lamar's Police Department, because that Lamar's Police Department was at that person's home delivering emergency medical care within a minute or two of every 911 call that happened in this community during the volunteer. So
we had
hats off.
We had a great volunteer ambulance service. We've got all the history stuff, and when we build this, we've got a little museum history room you'll see there. Actually, I've got that book I gave to John. It's got some of the old pictures. Brian Dinsky found all those for us and stuff like that. So it's just showing even how our fire department's grown over the years, when it was all volunteer, to the first paid fire chief in 1990, to where we had the first paid ambulance and assistant director in 08 and when Greg got there. So we've had to advance the services as we've grown with this community, and the number of calls are going up. You just don't have a choice. But the service that was provided, those were good people. Some of them are still here and doing the job yet. We've got 7 or 8 of them that are still here from the Mars Ambulance that are helping us all the time. And they're good people, and they know what they're doing. You don't want to lose good people. They do a good job for us. So, yes?
Dave, you go around to the other smaller towns. I was just in Granville at a birthday party. They got a nice little fire station there for a small town. We're behind on this project and everything. I think it's a perfect thing for the town to do again. I know it's another bond and everything like that, but you go to like Sheldon, Sioux Center, you look at all them other cities, they got really nice fire stations. And we really deserve a really nice fire station.
Yeah, I mean, this is a focal point. It's on a nice street with a big new football field and, different things like that. And, but more to me is the user friendliness of it for the staff, for training and equipment needs and checking equipment and living quarters. And these people are here 24 hours a day. So they work a day, they're off a day, they work a day, they're off a day, they work a day, they're off 4 days. So they live here a lot together. And it just, the more comfortable you can make them, the better off you are, because they're busy, incredibly busy. Sometimes they don't get to make their beds, do you, boys? Don't get to touch the pillow all night if that happens. Anything else?
Any other comments?
I'm not going to spend that much time.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Did you hear that?
But I think what needs to happen is, if you're in doubt of this, this is when you can get that information you need, because too often we get third-party things out at cafes and on the streets and stuff. So it's rather important that these town halls, I compliment the mayor for setting up town halls and the council, because it's pretty important. Do we agree on everything? Sometimes no, but we have to have an understanding of each other and where it's coming from. You're here tonight, you heard all about how the operation is basically, so you know how important that is and what you're getting services. Now you need to decide on a building to run out of. And I can say, because I've been around probably longer than Station number 2 up at the other end of town was set up for about 20 years to reevaluate how that operated, how it's operating, because we knew it was the ambulance service, because the fire rescue in my time, we ran this backup ambulance, unbeknown to most people. Rescue 9 went out with the fire department. So we knew that there was gonna have to be a combination eventually, and so did everybody else, but reality, to get to it sometimes is a little tough. And it's tough sitting in those positions up there, every one of you council people, as well as the city administrator, to get that accomplished. But the citizens have to understand that too. They're gonna pay some more taxes, because that's how you get some of these things. But remember, public safety is altogether different than your other organizations and all your other city functions. That's your last person. You can get life-threatening. You better hope those people show up. We've had people pray to us. We've had families come in to see us after. They're very thankful. Sometimes you don't hear about those things. And that's what's really important. So I'm saying back to the building is, you need that type of building.
Well, even like that truck sitting there, you can't even get behind it.
So,
To get stuff out of the back of it, everything's gotta be moved outside or pulled out. That truck really should be by a front door, but because of the ambulance stuff and the crowded space, we gotta pull an ambulance out to get that fire truck out. You know, just things like that, and it just make this efficiency with response a lot better in the future. So, thank you guys for coming. When the mayor closes out here, feel free to talk to your council people, they'll listen. And you guys can take a group of 4 or 5 at a time and walk around if you want to see the building.
Second. Motion and second, all those in favor